was a warm summer evening in the small town of Millfield, and the annual carnival had just arrived. The carnival was always a big event in Millfield, with rides, games, and of course, clowns. But this year, something was different. There was a new clown in town, one that nobody had ever seen before. His name was Mr. Chuckles, and he was unlike any other clown the town had ever seen. Mr. Chuckles was tall and thin, with a painted face that looked almost too real. His hair was wild and red, and his eyes seemed to follow you wherever you went. He didn't talk much, but when he did, his voice was low and gravelly, like something out of a nightmare. The first night of the carnival, a group of teenagers were hanging out near the clown tent, daring each other to go in and meet Mr. Chuckles. One of them, a boy named Tommy, decided to take the challenge. He walked into the tent, and the other teenagers waited outside, giggling nervously. But Tommy didn't come out. Minutes turned into hours, and eventually the other teenagers got worried and went to find help. When the police arrived, they searched the tent but found no sign of Tommy. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. The next day, more people began to disappear. They would be seen walking towards the clown tent, and then they would simply disappear. The townspeople were terrified, and rumors began to spread that Chuckles was behind the disappearances. One night, a group of men decided to take matters into their own hands. They armed themselves with baseball bats and went to confront Mr. Chuckles. But when they entered the tent, they found something they never expected. Inside the tent was a labyrinth of mirrors, and at the center was Mr. Chuckles. But he wasn't alone. He was surrounded by dozens of other clowns, all with painted faces and sinister smiles. They were all holding knives, and as the men tried to escape, they were quickly surrounded. The last thing anyone ever heard from the men was their screams echoing through the carnival. After that night, the carnival disappeared, along with Mr. Chuckles and the other clowns. But the town of Millfield was never the same. The disappearances were never explained, and the town became known as a place to avoid at all costs. Years later, some people still claim to have seen Chuckles lurking around the edges of the town, waiting for his next victim. And every time the carnival comes back to Millfield, people shudder at the thought of what might be hiding behind the clown tent. The fear and terror that Mr. Chuckles had brought to the town of Millfield had left an everlasting impact on its residents. Parents would often warn their children to stay away from clowns, especially if they looked like Mr. Chuckles. The police had investigated the disappearances, but no evidence was ever found, and the case remained unsolved. Over time, the town slowly recovered from the traumatic events, but the memory of Mr. Chuckles and his deadly clown still lingered on in the minds of those who had experienced the horror. Years went by without any sign of the carnival or Mr. Chuckles. The townspeople had almost forgotten about the clown and the nightmares he had brought with him. But one day, out of the blue, a new carnival arrived in Millfield. The townspeople were hesitant at first, but curiosity soon overcame their fear. The carnival was nothing like the one they remembered from years ago. It was bright, colorful, and filled with happy families enjoying themselves. As they walked around, they noticed a small clown tent at the edge of the carnival. But this time, the clown that greeted them was nothing like Mr. Chuckles. He was short, chubby, and had a friendly smile on his face. As the night fell, the atmosphere at the carnival began to change. The air became thick with a sense of dread, and the friendly clown from earlier was nowhere to be seen. People started to disappear, and the townspeople began to panic. They tried to leave the carnival, but the entrance was blocked, and they were trapped. Suddenly, a figure appeared on the stage in the middle of the carnival. It was Mr. Chuckles, and he was back to seek his revenge on the town of Millfield. The townspeople screamed in terror as Mr. Chuckles and his clowns attacked them. The clown's makeup had changed, and his eyes glowed with an evil light. He had returned more powerful than ever before. The townspeople fought back, but they were no match for Mr. Chuckles and his clowns. One by one, they were captured and dragged away into the darkness. As the sun rose the next day, the carnival was gone, and so were the townspeople. No one ever found out what happened to them, and the town of Millfield became a ghost town. Rumors say that Mr. Chuckles and his clowns still roam the area, seeking new victims to drag into their dark dimension. The townspeople never returned, and the abandoned town became a place of legend and horror. From that day on, no one dared to visit the town of Millfield, and the memory of Mr. Chuckles and his clowns served as a warning to those who ignored the dangers of the unknown. The end.